Path of Exile is an online action role-playing game developed by New Zealand-based independent developer Grinding Gear Games. It is a downloadable free-to-play game supported by microtransactions. On January 23, 2013, the open beta was released, and by March 2013 the subscriber base reached 2 million players. The game left open beta and was fully released both on Steam and on their own website on 23 October 2013. Gameplay: the player controls a single character from an overhead perspective and explores large outdoor areas and underground caves or dungeons, battling monsters and fulfilling quests from NPCs to gain experience points and equipment. The game borrows heavily from the Diablo series, particularly Diablo 2. All areas aside from the central encampments are randomly generated for increased replayability. While all players on a single server can freely mingle in encampments, gameplay outside of encampments is highly instanced, providing every player or party with an isolated map to freely explore. Players can initially choose from 6 available classes to play as. Each of these classes are aligned with one or two of the 3 core attributes: strength, dexterity, or intelligence. The final class, the Scion, can be unlocked by freeing her near the end of Act 3 on normal difficulty, and is aligned with all 3 attributes. The different classes are not restricted from investing into skills not aligned with their core attributes, but will have easier access to skills that are aligned with their core attributes. Items are randomly generated from a wide variety of basic types and endowed with special properties and gem sockets. They come in different rarities with increasingly powerful properties. This makes a large part of gameplay dedicated to finding well-balanced and synergistic equipment. Skill gems can be placed in gem sockets of armor and weapons, giving them an active skill. As the character advances and levels up, the equipped skill gems also gain experience, allowing the skills themselves to be leveled up and increase in potency. Active skills can be modified by items known as support gems. Depending upon the number of linked sockets the player possesses, a primary attack or skill can be modified with increased attack speed, faster projectiles, multiple projectiles, chaining hits, life leech, auto-cast spells on critical strike, and more. Given limits on the number of sockets, players must prioritize gem usage. All classes share the same selection of 1,325 passive skills, from which the player can choose one each time their character levels up, and as an occasional quest reward. These passive skills improve the core attributes and grant further enhancements such as increased mana, health, damage, defenses, regeneration, speed, and more. Each one of the characters start on a different position on the passive skill tree. The passive skill tree is arranged in a complex network starting in separate trunks for each class. The player must therefore not only focus on maximizing all modifiers related to his primary attacks and spells, but must also take care to select the most efficient path through the passive skill tree. As of the 2.0 Awakening release, the maximum possible number of passive skill points per character was 123. Path of Exile is unusual among action RPG games in that there is no gold money. The game's economy is based on bartering currency items. Unlike traditional game currencies, these items have their own inherent uses and thus provide their own money sinks to prevent inflation. Most of these items are used to modify and upgrade equipment, though some identify items, create portals to town or grant skill refund points. == Grinding Gear Games aims to offer several alternate play modes for Path of Exile. Currently, the following permanent leagues are available. Standard the default gameplay league. Characters who die here respawn in the last city visited. Hardcore characters cannot be resurrected but instead respawn back in the standard league. This mode is analogous to permadeath in other games. Previous temporary leagues, warbands are warring clans of enemies with synergistic abilities are spread throughout Raycast. Tempest a hardcore league where tempests affect zones and their monsters in a variety of ways, increasing risk and reward. Torment a tormented spirits can haunt rare or unique monsters for extra challenge and loot. Bloodlines a hardcore league where packs of magic monsters each have one of many bloodline mods for added difficulty. Rampage in this league, slaying enemies in rapid succession will give rise to Rampage bonuses. Beyond Hardcore League, where killing monsters in close proximity to each other creates portals that spawn creatures from another realm. Ambush, various new types of chests called strong boxes could be found throughout Raycast. Invasion, Hardcore League, where areas of Raycast had substantially more monster variety. Domination, variety of powerful shrines spawned along with large groups of monsters that received powerful buffs from the shrine. Nemesis, Hardcore League, where rare monsters had one additional mod from the Nemesis pool, which could make a fight substantially harder. Anarchy, in each area, rogue exiles could spawn to attack the player. Onslaught, Hardcore League, where monsters had a plus 20% bonus to move speed and attack cast speed. Other leagues are usually designed for specific events. They have their own set of rules, item accessibility and aftermath. These rules widely vary depending on the league. For example, Timed Descent League features another map set, new monster sets and rewards, but characters in this league are no longer available for playing after the league ends. Turbo Solo Immolation Leagues, as another example, are running on the same maps as standard modes, but with much harder monsters, no partying, replacing physical damage with fire damage and monsters exploding on Death and return the survivors to Hardcore League. Racing leagues last between 30 minutes and 1 week. The permanent leagues have counterpart ladder leagues with different rule sets that last 3 months. Setting, the game is set in a dark fantasy world. The player starts the game waking up on the shores of Raycast, a continent that once was the center of a mighty empire but is now a cursed land which serves as a penal colony for criminals and other unwanted individuals from the nearby island of Orialf. Regardless of the reasons for their exile, the player must now face the unforgiving wilderness and its dangerous inhabitants amidst the crumbling ruins and bloody secrets of the Eternal Empire and the vile civilization that came before, and band together with other exiles to survive. Development. Path of Exile began when a small group of action role-playing game enthusiasts became frustrated by the lack of new releases in the genre and decided to develop their own game. It was developed under the radar for 3 years before being publicly announced on September 1, 2010. In the time since then, Grinding Gear Games has published a number of development posts on their website ranging from screenshots of new classes, monsters and skills to presentations of gameplay or technical aspects. Alpha started around June 2010, and ended when 0.9.0 was released in August 2011. Following a period under closed beta which players could pay to join, the developers started an open beta on January 23, 2013 which was free to play with purchasable microtransactions. The game was patched for release version 1.0.0 on October 23, 2013. On this date, it was also made available on Steam. The game continues to be updated with new content and fixes on a roughly monthly basis. Expansions Path of Exile Euro's first digital expansion, Sacrifice of the Val, was released on March 5, 2014. The expansion included new bosses, currency, areas, leagues, and PvP modes. The second expansion, Forsaken Masters, was announced on July 31, 2014 and released on August 20, 2014 at 3 p.m. Pacific. It comes with a host of new features, including crafting, recruitable NPCs called Masters, reworked passive skill tree, and customized personal hideouts. The Awakening, the third and biggest expansion, entered closed beta on April 20, 2015. It includes the addition of a fourth act containing new map tilesets, quests, and monsters. Other additions include new skills and items, passive skill tree sockets and jewels, item filters, 2 new challenge leagues, and game balance. This expansion also adds an optional lockstep mode in an effort to fix the desync network synchronization issues at the cost of latency. The Awakening expansion was released on July 10, 2015. Business model The developers of Path of Exile stress that one of their core goals is to provide a genuinely free-to-play game financed only by ethical microtransactions. Most other games require either some initial or recurring payment or are financed by microtransactions, which are often hard to avoid because they provide significant game advantages. Path of Exile is planned to offer only cosmetic changes or vanity items in its item shop. Players will also be able to pay to create private, invite-only leagues, each secluded in its own economy. During closed beta, by January 21, 2013, Path of Exile received $2.2 million in crowdsourced contributions. Reception: Path of Exile was named 2013 PC Game of the Year by GameSpot and Best PC Role-Playing Game of 2013 by IGN. As of February 28, 2014, the game has 5 million registered players and is profitable for grinding gear games. The game is commonly praised for its strategic depth in character building, exciting item randomization, frequent fine-tuning of character and skill balance, strong virtual economy, and very high replayability. References. External links: official website, Path of Exile Wiki.